everybody, welcome to From Another's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason. Michael is still on his trip, therefore, Jordan's back on the show with us. Welcome back.
Yo.
And the beer you brought us, I have to enjoy the name of it, from Golden Road Brewing. Get up off of that brown. And it's actually fantastic. So
It's delicious. Namesake aside.
So you've been good this past week? Nothing big going on, just working? Or
Yeah.
All right. Because there wasn't really much, like, in terms of, like, movies or anything that a lot of people wanted to go see. I know I didn't see anything.
I don't even know if anything came out.
Yeah, well, you know. But there was comics, and we'll get to those in a moment, because I actually did go to a comic shop today and picked up one that was surprisingly okay, and one that was just... Yeah, I just picked it up. Okay, let's just get on to the big news. Yeah, BBC. From a business standpoint, I completely understand why you did this, but at the same time, you kind of fucked yourself on this one. They did confirm, after being suspended for 2 weeks during the investigation into the possible row with a producer, the BBC has let go of Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear. So, what does this mean for the show? Well, at this point, we really kind of don't know. We know that James May has already come out and stated that the three of them are basically a package. He enjoys working with Clarkson, and that they're pretty much like a team. So, do you think they'll actually split up the team up if they give him enough money, or is this one of those more of those pride things where Hammond and May will not go back to Top Gear?
I honestly don't know. I mean, didn't they already mention they've already eyed a new guy to take over his spot?
They did. The big rumor was this BBC Two morning radio jockey.
Yeah.
The guy that has the ridiculous car collection that they have painted him in all white. It's very gorgeous. But he's already gone on his own show and stated this is false. This is complete rubbish.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all up in the air right now. There's already been a couple stations over in Britain that's basically made the announcement, like Sky, that they are not actively trying to, bring on Clarkson. But the one company that keeps on popping up in each and every single article is that Clarkson has already been in talks with Netflix. I foresee a nice new show coming out of this.
Netflix is on the rise. They're quickly becoming the new HBO. They're just all right, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this.
Oh yeah, it's easily one of those things where you can look at it and go, BBC spent approximately about £1 million per episode for Top Gear. When essentially Netflix can go around with House of Cards or any of its other original series and drop 10 to 15 times that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine bring a 7-figure salary over Clarkson, bring the other two idiots along. Mm-hmm. Call it Overdrive or Another Gear or fuck the BBC, I don't care. And let's let them go at it.
Yeah, I mean it's that rose by any other name kind of bullcrap.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's still them, still doing the car thing,
mm-hmm.
let's be honest, I even you know this, I don't know shit about cars.
Right.
Other than they go vroom vroom, they get me from point A to B. I'm very simple that way. But even I can watch Top Gear just because, yeah, it's about cars, but it's really just about these three guys fucking around.
Exactly, and it's the chemistry between those three idiots that works so well. You try to throw anybody else into the mix.
Perfect example, the American version of Top Gear. Look how that worked out.
There's an American version?
Top Gear?
We don't speak about the American version.
Fair enough. I'm am I just forgetting shit? I could have swore that was a thing.
Yeah, apparently is a thing.
But...
Although I do have to say, it is kind of sad and funny that several people have pointed out online that the last episode of British Top Gear that aired on TV featured Clarkson being lapped by one of the hosts of American Top Gear. That's just a poor way to go out. I mean, I know they already have 2 or 3 more episodes or segments already in the bag. They need to go ahead and release them. Because they were setting it up so that they weren't going to renew his contract, and the other 2 guys, their contracts expire in 5 days. Part of me believes and hopes that we'll get one final episode where they'll do a one-shot contract for all 3 of them, just to do a wrap-up of this. and then in 2016 they'll go ahead and
See, I didn't
bring
know
it back.
most of the business ends of this thing, but yeah, that would. Not even that. You could just have like the Chappelle Show. Remember season 3? Chappelle wasn't even there because that's when he went crazy and left.
That's true.
They had the other 2 idiots on there, or not
Mm-hmm.
idiots, but 2 of the other comedians on there,
Mm-hmm.
and they just kind of aired what was left, and they're like, "This is shit we have left
Yeah.
over. Maybe you'll enjoy it too."
Exactly.
Maybe that they could pull that just as like a goodbye and send off because I didn't know their contract was that close to being done too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they also have all these Top Gear Live arena shows that were supposed to take place all over Europe and Australia. They were going to start like in like a week or 2, and they canceled the first set of shows, which are going to be in Norway. But they haven't said anything about the other shows. But if Clarkson's no longer part of the BBC, or at least of Top Gear, and then you have the other 2 idiots not really saying anything. I mean, other than James May joking that now he has to go create an eBay listing for his Ferrari.
People still use eBay. I just thought everyone used Craigslist nowadays.
Well, you got to think it's across the pond. I don't know if Craigslist is that widely used over there.
They probably have their own version.
I'm sure they do. It's like going out to the corner. I have no idea. But yeah, I can only say, like I said, from a business standpoint, an assault in the workplace, yeah, you're going to have to fire someone. I understand that. This one guy basically brings in 50 to 75 million pounds in broadcast revenue, and I mean, you have 350 million people tune in every season to watch Top Gear. You're not going to have that type of branding anymore. Even if next season you start with 3 brand new hosts, it's going to be not even a 10th of what you had before.
No, not even close.
So, and at the same time, and hopefully, you never know, the 3 guys make it together.
Because all their contracts up, I mean, James May, Richard Hammond, and Clarkson, they could easily just fuck off and go do something else.
Oh, easily.
It wouldn't surprise me if they ended up getting something stupid where they came to America. It's like, and they just took over American Top Gear or something weird like that. Or like you said, Overdrive. Another weird-ass name.
Dude, something. I mean, I know Clarkson's already been joking, maybe partially serious, about creating a new show, which is an idiot trying to grow a farm. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it is a sad day regardless. Not sure we're going to hear from anything for at least the next couple weeks, if not a month. So, but yeah, this information just came out less than 12 hours ago. So we will see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll have some more information for you next week or in the near future. Jumping from something bad to something meh for me. Lack of a better phrase. X-Files has been confirmed it's coming back to television. Sort of. It's getting a 6-episode run, kind of like what you got last year with the new 24, and which was just like, hey guys, we still have the crew. You guys remember these people? Enjoy. I mean,
look, I'm excited. Anything David Duchovny's done, I've enjoyed. Even Californication near the end. But I mean, everyone knows him as Mulder. Like that was kind of his
exactly.
thing. I mean,
I give him props.
I look forward to it. I'll probably watch it. You know, whatever medium or whatever I have to do to watch it, I'll do it.
Right.
But you know,
I don't know.
I have to wonder because I mean, they did the movies and that didn't do that well.
Oh God, the movie. Oh yeah. That movie was, yeah. I don't know. I look at it this way. Probably one of the only reasons why this is becoming a thing is because of Netflix and similar companies with the ability to binge watch nostalgia to your heart's content. Mm-hmm. And the fact that all the actors and crew is probably still available, they're probably like, well, let's use this, create a mini series, bring it back to modern times, and get all the fans riled up. And then announce like a major stream package for like Netflix or like that.
That. The movie.
Yeah.
There was even 2 of them, wasn't there?
I've only seen the first one. I don't know if there was a second one.
Like, and I don't remember those doing too well.
Yeah. So
look, I'm excited for stuff like this.
Okay.
I want them to bring back Twin Peaks. Because last I checked, they didn't even solve that shit.
No, they never did. But in that episode, you know, I'll see you in 25 years. and they're supposed to start the next season exactly 25 years after that point.
Phil Trades ain't doing shit. Just bring him back.
Well, no, they've already announced they're working on Twin Peaks for I think it was for Showtime or Stars, but it's one of those. It's been plagued with problems from the get-go.
Remember what I told you about Arrested Development last week?
Mm-hmm.
Until I see a poster or actual footage or a teaser or something like that.
Don't believe it.
Fuck that, it doesn't exist yet.
Well, then what about this information then? I know you, and especially your sister Jess, like the Muppets. Jim Henson stuff.
Yeah.
Remember Fraggle Rock?
Vaguely.
The like almost like the bastard stepchild of all the Muppets.
I wouldn't say that, but it was like that wacky cousin.
Yeah.
Because that was... Not everybody got it, and some people, I feel, loved it too much.
True.
I mean, to me, it's like comparing Labyrinth and Dark Crystal.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, the reason I bring it up is because apparently the latest movies have been enough of a buzz and made enough money that they're gonna make a Fraggle Rock movie, starred and produced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Good for Tommy. Look, I hope it's good. I'll probably still watch it. To see how hard it hits the nostalgias. But wasn't Joseph Gordon-Levitt also attached to do Sandman?
I believe he still is.
I don't want him to get distracted. I love Sandman.
Well, he's currently working on a movie based on Edward Snowden's life. Which why?
He did that. You had Sherlock playing and it sucked.
No, that was The Fifth Estate. That was with Julian Assange.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But instead, we just had a fantastic documentary show up on Edward Snowden. The guy's still alive, and he's trying to actually work out a deal so he can come back to the States. Do we really need to have a movie on his life up to this point?
Yes. Oh, if you have a reason, I don't fucking have.
Okay, I was gonna ask you.
Someone will watch it. It'll be like anything that comes out.
Yeah.
You'll have people that'll be like, "This is amazing. This is brilliant." You'll have people that come out. It's like, "Oh no, none of that happened. It's all fake." All right, cool.
Well, let me say this then. I haven't seen Muppets Most Wanted yet. I know it's on my to-watch list. I have seen the first Muppets, the first of the latest of the Muppet movies.
The Muppet movie, that was fantastic. Life's a Happy Song, that was my ringtone for like a year. And you had Jason Segel running around playing. Oh, fantastic.
He was great.
Muppets Most Wanted, really good. Not as good as the first.
So would you have higher hopes for this being closer to Muppets Most Wanted or Muppets?
But see, that's what I'm just saying. Like, other than the fact that there were, Henson-inspired pieces of felt.
Yeah.
I don't really consider Fraggle Rock and the Muppets the same.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's apples and oranges. Yes, they're both fruit, but they are different.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that strong of an attachment to Fraggle Rock.
I don't know anybody who ever really did.
I had a few friends, and I would just stare at them like, I've seen some shit, but your childhood must have been rough.
So, we'll see what happens with this.
Like I said, I'll still check it out. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do have to ask, moving on.
Okay.
I know you've at least heard of it, but have you read the book Ready Player One by Ernest Cline? I
have not. I made the mistake of getting really into buying and collecting those sweet leather-bound books at Barnes & Noble. And I have a bookshelf at home that's just like wilting. Like there's just a giant divot from the weight.
You're just waiting for one day for it to just crack and just...
I really am afraid of that. But it's one of those things, like, I made myself promise, like, dude, you bought too many books. You're not allowed to buy anything else until you at least finish half of this.
Okay.
But what's made it worse is, like, I have, like, that Netflix queue of, like, books. Ready Player One's on there. There's a bunch of other stuff on there, and it's like, I want to.
It's a great book.
Don't read into it.
I'm just saying, I have a copy right here. You can read. It's right there.
You.
Oh yeah.
Trying to give me the first taste.
Well,
no, it's on my to-do list.
Okay. The reason why I bring it up is because, one, I know you would actually. Yeah. You start reading it right now in the middle of the show. Well, it's full of 1980s nostalgia and so many comparisons to what could be the future of MMOs. I mean, hell, there's a whole chapter almost devoted to one character reciting all of Matthew Broderick's lines from War Games.
There's a classic. It had way too many sequels that didn't need to exist.
The one sequel is horrible. God awful.
Suck it.
Yeah, anyways. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because several years ago it was announced that this was going to be turned into a movie adaptation. And I believe Ernest Cline was actually writing the screenplay for it. I was like, okay, cool. We haven't heard dick about this until about, I would say, 2 days ago when it was announced of a director. And of all the people that I think this guy's the best fit for it, Steven Spielberg is going to be directing this film. Given the fact that a number of his movies inspired many aspects of this book and are even referenced in this book, for him to come in here and...
being right on the back that says their creator's obsession with their pop culture of decades past. Like, yeah, what bigger decade had that, like, much, especially on a generation now where, like, the 80s had an effect.
Exactly.
The 80s are starting to have a comeback already, which is fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it touches nostalgia and new stuff, too, so...
Exactly. But we're still so far, we're not even in pre-production yet, but the fact that they're going to bring in Spielberg, my concern is that I'm worried about another AI. Then again,
AI wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I have a friend, that's one of his favorite movies.
I will disagree completely. I understand.
I didn't say it was one of mine.
Okay, I know.
Keep in mind, I constantly make fun of him for this, too.
Well, then I'll make fun of you as well, because my God, what the hell is wrong with you?
Chapman Gnome, this is all your fault. No, because he's openly admitted to, like, crying during that movie.
What, with the blue fairy, which is like the robot alien thing at the end?
Okay. I'll admit, it was a little sad when, he got to see his mom again, even though it was a little fake little boy and crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little sad.
The whole time when he's walking around trying to find his mom, all I could think of was shut up Shinji the whole goddamn time.
Jude Law, Robo Gigolo. That's all you need to know. His weird shiny hair.
But I mean, I can't blame Spielberg completely for that because that was a whole Kubrick thing as well, so... But at the same time, Spielberg is one of our most treasured directors of our time, so give him something that almost was inspired by all of his former work. Yeah. It should be good on paper, but I don't know. Once you read the book, then you'll understand why I'm like
maybe I'll be able to have more to say other than, apparently USA Today said, enchanting, ellipses, Willy Wonka meets The Matrix. Other than just reading clips off the book right in front of me, I can't tell you.
No, fair enough. Like you said, you haven't read it yet, but if you want to borrow it, it is right there in front of you. I'm an enabler. I'm always been an enabler to all my friends, so...
This isn't the first time. This won't be the last.
Exactly.
Magnificent sack of crap.
Well, I could be giving you some worse
I already
stuff.
read that one.
I know. Like I said earlier on, I went to the comic shop today and picked up a couple of titles. The first one we've talked about before on the show, and because just the art style alone looked totally outrageous, if we had to say a horrible phrase.
Not even outrageous. I'm waiting for Snap, Crackle, and Pop to come out and start telling me shit.
Yes, the first issue of Gem and the Holograms comic came out, a brand new one. The one I picked up actually had one of the variant covers, which made look like Gem back from the 1980s cartoon, 80s, 90s.
She looks like she belongs in a 70s, 80s cereal box with that.
But the thing is, though, that's not how they look in this new comic.
Yeah, not at all.
No, they look like this. What the fuck? She has, I mean, all of them have hair that David Bowie would be envious of. But, do we...
That's what it is. It looks like Ziggy Stardust, like, knocked boots with, like, an anime character.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Just super androgynous.
Now,
weird-ass haircuts.
what's...
Sparkles.
Yeah, sparkles everywhere, yeah. Now, I do have to say, though, there's nice detailed in the character designs. I will give them that. I have to say I was a bit surprised though when it was when I read on here that the um art was, I looked from so familiar, but it was labeled Sophie Campbell, and I was like, Sophie Campbell. Well, I know a Ross Campbell, and he has done some amazing work in the past, several years. I have a bunch of other comics with his variant art on it, and then I realized, oh no, I did some, went online and found out, oh no, they're the same person. Ross has been transitioning for the past year and now goes by Sophie Campbell, and this is I believe the first comic that she is doing under that new name.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, at least the art will be nice.
The problem I have with it's like, okay, in the back of the book, like at the end of the story, part one of the story,
right?
There is a description of each member of Gem and the Holograms.
Like,
it reads like a dating profile.
It really does.
The fact that it has likes, dislikes, and all this other crap. My favorite, one of them, Aha, or whatever the hell her name is.
Aha, or something like that.
Guilty
AJA.
pleasure, extreme nachos. What the fuck are extreme nachos? And 2, how do I get them?
We will have to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue-haired one. Aja? Okay. Yeah, it's like, voted most likely to be the next MacGyver. Deepest secret. Sometimes feels like a jack of all trades, but a master of nothing.
Like, in my defense, I don't really remember much of the cartoon growing up. That was more my oldest sister Jackie and my sister Jessica.
Right.
And I can vaguely put pieces together. And unfortunately, the only thing that really stuck with me for some reason was the boyfriend Rio who had purple hair.
Right. Well, I honestly would say, you have to look at the color palette of just this first issue. I'd say a good 80% of it's all purple. So,
what's wrong with purple? Have you learned nothing from Gogo Bordello? Start wearing purple. Don't act like you don't know what that is.
Moving on. The other comic that I decided to pick up, just because I read, God, that transitions. Yeah.
No, I'm only laughing because I was that super nerd. It's like, oh, that comic? Why did you pick up that one, not the super sweet variant cover?
Yeah. Well, what we're talking about is Chrononauts. This is by Mark Miller. You might recognize that name from recent great comics that were turned into, for the most part, equally great movies like Kick-Ass and most recently Kingsman.
There we go. So I didn't want to say it. It's like
no.
Let him have it.
No, I just couldn't remember for half a second. But this is its first issue. This came out today. And the thing is, before issue 1 even came out, it was already announced that's being picked up for a movie adaptation. It's like Universal and these other companies are not waiting around. Mark Miller's working on a new comic. Perfect. Let's go ahead and just throw him a shitload of money and make a movie out of it right now. What's it about? Don't know, don't care.
At least they're backing a decent horse.
Okay, very true. I mean, Kingsman was fantastic. Kick-Ass 1 was great. Kick-Ass 2 had its moments.
It was decent. Like, I mean, with Kick-Ass 1, what the fuck were you expecting?
Yeah, true.
It's like when you go to Denny's at 2 a.m. You shouldn't be expecting the greatest thing. You know what you're getting yourself into.
True.
It's just... There are certain names in comics where I understand whatever they do is just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like at least with Miller, it's I always tend to enjoy it. He always tends to go for like the over the top. It always seems like that throwback to like the 60s Batman.
And it works so well.
And it's fucking beautiful. Like my favorite scene in The Kingsman is the most over top scene in the entire movie where not Lancelot. The dude's in the Southern Church, and he just goes nuts.
Church and goes nuts, yeah.
Like, that scene, it's like, oh my god, that was ultra violent, and it was just, you're sitting there like, I was sitting there just going, yeah!
Exactly.
I clapped and cheered at the screen, and that's something I very rarely ever did.
It was amazing. I have to say, like, there's always some movies out there that will have a fight scene that just looks gore for the sake of gore, and that's usually in more of the slasher flick. Yes. But the thing is, though, that one was so brilliantly and violently choreographed. I was just like amazed at every single turn. It was great.
But see, that was well done, but I have to wonder if a lot of it is due to the fact that I am an Anglophile. Like, I watch way too much Brit shit.
I fail to see if there's a problem with that.
So like even when I was watching that movie, it's like Cousin Jamie from Love Actually. You were murdering a lot of people. No wonder why that little kid was like, I hate Cousin Jamie. Because he just murdered, like, dozens of people.
Yeah, true. Although I still have to find it funny that they've already announced they're trying to work on a sequel to Kingsman, and they're supposed to bring back Colin Firth. I'm like, okay, mild spoiler, he gets shot in the fucking face. So, okay, fine, allegedly. You don't see it. Maybe, Sam Jackson is a horrible shot as a nerd. I have no idea.
Science, man. That's all you need to know. Science.
I was going to say writer's prerogative, but I guess science works as well. But anyways, Chrononauts. I can understand why they're already talking about making this a movie, because you have two genius badasses, basically, and they're working on time travel, and in the first issue, it all goes to hell. Tune in next week to find out when they will arrive. Yeah, basically. So I can see them trying to do this almost like a buddy cop kind of a bit. So we'll have to see.
Look like Hugh Jackman.
He really does. And he's supposed to be like the uber genius scientist. The other one's a bit of a playboy. There's a whole scene where they're about to test the device for the first time with a human subject, one of their own. And they're like, dude, trust me, this is gonna work, and you're gonna come back. You're gonna have your score every single woman on the college talk circuit from here to Timbuktu. You do realize this is being televised live, right? All right. And it goes shot to a group full of nuns.
Just that Tony Stark over the top.
Exactly. Yeah, and then things naturally fuck up, and how they're gonna resolve it.
That's part of time travel in general.
It is. It really is.
You show me one thing of like one instance in time travel, like mythos or whatever, where everything goes according to plan.
According to plan, an entire movie or just a scene?
The entire, like, them having time travel, no one fucks it up.
Fuck, I was gonna say About Time, but no, they fucked that one up too.
Like I said, that was one of the big cruxes of the film, and he's like, oh, fucked it up.
Yeah. That's true. It's very odd that I guess it's not odd that I actually really enjoyed that film. I really need to get that on Blu-ray eventually.
Great shit. It's amazing.
Yes, it is, very much so. Oh.
Richard Curtis, you are a national treasure. Not an American one, mind you, but over there they probably love him too. Equally as much.
Let's like, God, I just completely lost my train of thought. Let's see what we should jump onto. More comics.
Yeah.
Let's talk about female Thor, which is apparently outselling every other male Thor out there.
To call her that?
Yes.
Like Lady Thor or Girl Thor? Because I feel like an asshole, because when they first announced that, it was like, she's not Lady Thor, she's not Girl Thor.
She's just Thor.
She is Thor. And when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, like, is it like, does, Thor Odinson basically decide, I may have been born a man, but I am not a man. Like, maybe he just had a surgery or something. Like, maybe that. Or maybe they just pulled a Beta Red Bill kind of scenario, and that's actually what ended up happening, apparently. But, like, we are allowed to call her Thor. Or Lady Thor.
I'm just calling her female Thor. That just seems to be the best way to describe this version of Thor. Other than the fact that she's a lady, she has the power of Thor, she has Mjolnir. And Thor Odin's son, the last one, is sitting back on Asgard with missing, I think, an arm or a leg, but holding a massive battle axe instead of Mjolnir.
Okay, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, when Marvel came out, they're like, this isn't Lady Thor, it's
just
Thor.
Thor. Yeah.
It's like, but it's not Thor. Like, it's the girl Thor.
Yeah. Now, in all the press releases for this new version, they're just calling it Thor. To differentiate between the past and the future, I'm calling this one female Thor. Okay, that's what I'm calling it.
So as a nerd, I'm safe calling her Lady Thor.
Yes.
No one's going to come up in arms and knees just because it's the easiest way of doing it.
I mean, if you went to someone and said, did you see what happened in Thor? Most often than not, if they're up to snuff with this stuff, they're going to understand that it's a female Thor. But those people are like, what did Chris Hemsworth do now? I'm like, no, not that Thor.
Could be.
So, you never know. Unless Chris Hemsworth has something to share. But we're not going to talk about that.
Annie Hoozle.
Yeah. So.
New Avengers.
With the new Thor and the new Miss Marvel outpacing practically everything else out there that Marvel's talking about, of course, they're already talking about bringing these two characters into the Avengers.
Damn right, dude. Lady power.
It-
Let's bring back the
yeah.
Spice Girls.
So they decided to release this teaser of the, as they're calling it, the all-new, all-different Avengers. So far, they've only confirmed Thor and Miss Marvel. This will be available on Marvel on one of Marvel's comics on Free Comic Book Day coming up very soon. You can only guess of who the other people are. I have to say some of my thoughts. Maybe Vision's in there, Nova, maybe Falcon.
Was it like actual Falcon, or is it just because you can see the brown bit?
Right.
I have to assume that's either some kind of Iron Man booty blast nonsense,
or
it's Cap's shield.
Now, in one of the Captain America series, when Rogers dies, Falcon actually picks up and becomes the next Captain America, but he keeps the wings.
Yeah.
So is that Captain America version
that's
of
what
Falcon?
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Because you can see the round bubble at the bottom of the feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm wondering. Is that a Cap shield and the wings?
Yeah.
Or is that just...
Which would make a pretty badass inclusion to the Avengers. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Iron Man's in there somewhere. Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk?
Did I say Tony Stark? I'm sorry. I've been drinking.
That's how you defeat the Red Skull. You do sick 900s and ollies.
I am not ashamed. Anyways. But yes, so this new version of the Avengers will be coming out not during the upcoming Secret War, but right afterwards. Yeah. So Marvel's already coming out and stating, are starting to release titles that will survive or start right after Secret Wars. So
we gotta build hype.
True,
because you're always gonna have those people who it's like, shit, I didn't get issue 1 or issue 2. I completely forgot. I'll just wait till it comes out on trades. So you have to build hype for like the next thing. So it's like, hey, we know you fucked up and missed this first bit. Get excited.
Get in on this next one. Yeah.
Now you know. Go.
But see, at that point, though, how much hype do you take off on what's coming up next in favor of what's after that? You start taking away from this big major event that's taken over the entirety of the Marvel Universe, shoved into one giant world.
Not necessarily. Because like I said, those who haven't started Secret Wars, you've missed the train on that already. Like if you didn't start in the beginning, or you have a friend that you can bum off of right now.
Yeah, unless
you're kind of fucked.
Unless you want to start spending like $80 to $100 to catch up right now.
Be that asshole, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Or be a complete dick and just download.
Yeah, there are people out there who do that. So let's get away from comics and talk about Star Wars and anime. Very odd combination, I know, but it still works very well. I'm sure many of you have seen this online already. There is a short film that is gone out. It is a fan-made video. I believe it came out, at least part of it came out
a
while ago.
We talked about this.
Yes.
It's like, I remember when you sent me the link, like, dude, check this out. You and I are both like, I could have swore I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being as long. I remember it being like maybe a fourth of that. But I did, yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about this and seeing it before. The animator is Paul Johnson. He basically, by himself, created a short, about 7.5 minute video of his take on Star Wars, but from the Empire side, and did it all in an 80s anime style, complete with the dude, that soundtrack was straight out of
the 80s metal.
The 80s metal hair metal guitar riffs. It
instantly reminded me of Transformers the movie, where you just have like that. You got the touch. Like I was waiting for that
really
sweet metal voice halfway through, but it just.
And here's the thing, though, like within this 7.5 minutes, he creates this whole scene with this 3-person TIE fighter team that are
he sets
badasses.
Scope.
Yeah,
like, he sets
true.
the scope for this, and like just this. The man did more in 7 minutes
than George Lucas did in the past 3 movies.
I was gonna say Twilight did, and however many shits they did. I didn't pay attention. I told you I saw the first one and then alienated my buddy's girlfriend.
You've seen more than I have then. But I have to say, this was absolutely incredible. And if you go online, you can find some additional research that Paul did. That the cockpit of the TIE Fighter and the X-wings, there's only so much available that was shown on screen, and so he actually went out there, checked out the latest video games, checked out some of the comics, checked out some of the toys.
There was a classic PC game that was TIE Fighter, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Around the old Rebel Assault days.
Right, and there was more information on that screen than there were, say, in like the movie versions, because it's a video game.
Make shit up.
Exactly, but he went to that nth degree of detail to make it look,
and you could
that
tell,
good.
Like, you could tell this was a labor of love.
Oh yeah,
took him what? I think you said 4 years.
Several years it had to have been.
I mean, if it was just him making it, and it's very beautifully done. Again, aside from the lovely 80s metal music, which, it's beautiful music. I don't care what people say.
Yeah.
But, like, even while watching it, even though in the back of my head I had it going, it's like, this is a fan thing. Like, do not know that this is probably all you get unless you want to wait another 4 fucking years.
Right.
Get 7 minutes more. Like, I was waiting for, like, Jennifer Hale or, like, Stephen Bloom or, like, someone's voice to start talking because it looks fucking legit. I hate saying that, but it looks phenomenal, and it looks like it was actually done by, like, a studio.
So I'm hoping that this guy's going to show up and screen this on the big screens at Star Wars Celebration, what's happening next month. Because if there was any place for this guy to get complete recognition, justified recognition for what he's created, that has to be the place. Plus, you never know. If he's there and shows us off, maybe Disney will go, maybe we should do work, you and I,
I don't know about that.
Or at least...
Disney strikes me as more the, like, oh, you did good work. It would be a shame if someone came up and just took all of it.
Yeah. Good
Copyright.
Point. Yeah, good point.
Slowly just sneaked. I don't know. I've been drinking.
And then we'll have to pass this around on VHSs like we did for Star Wars Christmas Special.
I was afraid. I thought you were going to say Fantastic Four. I'm still upset that I don't have that anymore. A buddy of mine borrowed it when I went back to him. Like, dude, can I get that back? Like, I want to get drunk and watch that again. That movie's fucking terrible.
Now, which one are we talking about? Talking about the one from about 5 years ago, or like the late 70s, the early 80s one?
It was in the 90s. It wasn't. It was worse. It was in the 90s because it's the package deal where they were told, like, you have a year to make this movie or else you lose the rights.
Oh, so no.
They quickly, jankily threw one together, and it was so fucking terrible. Marvel paid the studio in return to never release it. Because they knew how damning it was. That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
I used to own that on DVD.
You don't anymore.
Because someone borrowed it, and when I went to ask for it back, it's like, I don't have that. You sack of shit. If you weren't my friend, I would fucking strangle you right now.
Oh, man.
God, that movie was fantastic and terrible.
So bad.
Yeah. That's what I love about conventions. Like, there's always that, like, is somewhere in between, like, where everything is super popular, and then there's, like, Artist Alley, and then there's always that shame row of, like, people from, like, I was in the original Battlestar Galactica. I was I was number 3. I was Cylon number 3.
Pay me $30 for my autograph kind of thing.
Somewhere in between, like, that, like, the dark end of cons, there's always that one DVD booth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
It looks shady as hell, but when you go in there, like, it's the holy grail of shit.
You know, like, there is no bigger hive of scum and villainy, but, like, you just go in there and you're like, $10 to see this thing that no one was ever supposed to see? Yeah, here's $10. You give me the Ark of the Covenant. Let's melt my face right now with this amazing technology of you being a shady-ass fucking pirate.
Tell you what, if I can find it again, we'll do a screening, like, everybody together and just watch it. We can't even try to make a drinking game out of it because any version of any type of drinking game for that movie would result in everyone going to the hospital within the first 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it's to catch 22. The amount of drinking it would take would probably kill me, and that's saying something.
Exactly. So, we'll have to look at that. If you guys can find it online, you guys know my social media stuff. Hit me up and thank you.
Watch it 9 times.
Oh, yeah.
If you have the fortitude for that kind of chicanery.
The last thing that I want us to talk about before we wrap this up is actually 3D modeling, 3D printing.
Oh yeah, in the future.
So there are several people I know that own 3D printers. Other people have been messing around with their friends' printers, and it's pretty incredible what you can make with what's available commercially out there nowadays. 5 years ago, you would have to go to a specialized company to work on it, and they would charge you thousands of dollars. Now you can spend, I think, maximum of $500. You can get a printer, you can get all the materials, and you can basically make whatever the hell you can think of.
See, like, I'm okay with people making, like, figurines and weird shit like that. Like, good on you, go be weird, sell that shit on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the cool thing for me is, like, how it's going to be used to actually, like, help people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even you have to admit, it was fucking touching as all shit when Robert Downey Jr., like, presented that kid with the arm.
The Tony Stark Iron Man themed prosthetic arm.
Kid, like, do you know who I am? You're Robert. Yes.
Yes.
Like, you can tell he even caught Robert Downey Jr. off hand because he thought he was going to call him Tony Stark.
Right. No, that was heartfelt. The feels were there.
But you see me, like, using this technology for this, like, I am super excited. I'm super on board.
Mm-hmm.
Because
the only downside right now is that the commercial level models are so slow.
No, I was more or less thinking the dark side of how my brain works. Because technically the definition of a cyborg is someone that has organic things to better yourself.
Right.
We are this much fucking closer in cyborgs.
Yep. And the day that they allow some type of Borg type implant where I can plug the internet straight into my brain, sign me the fuck up.
I don't want that. I want the Mega Man, like, cannon hand.
Okay.
Like, I don't care if it's some kind of weird plasma blast or just a large gust of air. That would just be fun to fuck with people.
That would be very fun.
Just to have my hand like, cannon.
As for me, I just wouldn't want to deal with people. I would basically, if I'm around people who are talking to me, I don't want to talk to them, I would initiate a head nodding subroutine and entertain myself in my head all day long. That's just me. Yeah, you can go anywhere you want with that image.
No, that's terrible. Just like, all right, we're going to power save mode. Yeah.
Just imagine how many marriages will be saved with that technology.
None.
Okay, fair enough.
None. Here's the thing: women know. They know. They can feel your joy just being sucked from you. So if you try to retain that anyway, they'll know, and you'll get slapped, or they'll walk away when you come back. They're like, "Oh yes, you're back now. Let's continue this."
Fair enough.
Or they'll just sit there and save it for down the future. So when you do basically nothing, it turns around like, remember that one time, like
7 years ago, that you did this?
Yeah, that's the main problem. But no.
As we're talking about this, love you, honey.
More relevant things, 3D printing.
Yes. So this company, Carbon 3D, is creating a new 3D printing technique that's actually pretty amazing. Essentially, it blasts a resin pool with bursts of light, and you use a type of resin that actually will harden the resin once it's been hit by light. And they basically do, some people or some places actually build from the ground up. This one basically puts it all upside down. And they created this video to showcase what they can create. Now it is sped up at 7 times speed, but it is very, very eerily like you would expect from like the T-1000 robot from Terminator 2. Just a solid object emerging out of a pile of goo. This can create pretty much any design you want, any intricacy, multiple layers. It can do all this in one go, essentially. And it is both creepy and jaw-droppingly amazing, at least for me. I can imagine having one of these things at home, and it's like, I want to create this design. Well, instead of trying to, do layer by layer, which is not technically 3D printing, it's essentially 2D printing over and over and over and over again. This thing is
Skynet, dude. This thing's beautiful and terrifying.
Oh, yes.
I have a bit of a fear boner right now. Like, there is nothing good about this. Like, there is, like, I watched that. It's like, oh my god, that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the robot's gonna come and kill me in 10 years.
But it'd be a good 10 years beforehand.
So much more. No, but, like, it's... Get ready to bow to your robot overlords.
Sounds about right.
I'm super excited. Like, I'm curious to see, because, 3D printing technology has been around for, like, maybe a couple years, a handful at best.
The commercial side of it, yes.
Yeah. And we're already advancing this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. By the time I get old and most of me actually falls to shit, I will be a cyborg.
Do you remember there was that, I can't remember if it was a legit or a parody digital piracy video. There was like, you wouldn't download a car. I'm like, watch me, bitch. I will.
Oh, no. Because, okay. I thought I actually referenced that the other day.
Okay.
Because, actually, it was a while ago, like maybe a couple months. My buddy, like, I made him buy Mario Kart for the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, should I download this car? Come again? He's like, yeah, you know, they have some promotion thing where you can download and you can fucking bomb around in a goddamn Mercedes for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
And
a weird product
tie-in.
tie-in.
I just stared at him. So I remember I was standing in line at a Starbucks because I need my fix. And just staring at him. And he's like, what? I'm like, you wouldn't download a car, would you? Then why would you download a movie? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I don't understand how this works. I would expect no one else.
The future.
Oh my god.
We won't have to wait to the year 3000 for this.
Like I said, it'll be interesting.
Yep.
I look forward to all the 3D printing. The one thing I want is either the Mega Man ability, where if you can beat the shit out of someone, you can just touch them and absorb whatever.
And absorb their power, yeah.
Well, not powers, because I mean, Joe Schmo has no powers.
But knowledge is power.
Yeah. But again, what would happen if you beat the crap out of some redneck at a fucking, like, NASCAR race? All right. I know how to shotgun 3 bears.
And make moonshine in a bathtub.
Well, all right. I know way too much about NASCAR now. Like, I'm. Plus, then you'd have that one dickbag student, like, who just beat the shit out of his teacher. It's like, haha, I know algebra now. Like, more specifically to that, like, I want that, like, that matrix, like, that little plug in the back of my head. It's like, all right, cool. All right, I know Chinese. Who wants to go to China? That'd be rad.
You wouldn't have to worry about anything else at that point. It'd be great.
Like, I'm lazy. Like, that would eliminate so much schoolwork and everything.
And you're not too far off from that. I mean, what was it? Bill Gates always stated that he would give, a lazy man a hard task because a lazy man will find the fastest and easiest way to solve the problem. People may call you lazy. I call it efficient. But that's just me.
Hey, man. Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. I opened a beer bottle yesterday on my table just because I was too busy to find a fucking bottle opener. And the worst part is, this is where I love and hate technology again. Like, I had my beer in hand. I'm like, all right. Fuck. My buddy, I went to like just do it on the table, and my buddy Dom was like, dude, no. What the fuck you doing? I need to film this. Only if you paint me like one of your French girls. And he's like, that was amazing. I'm like, that was just lazy. Like, I couldn't find a bottle opener, and I want to be drunk.
Someone tries to come to you and basically states, can you explain the physics of what you just did to me? I'd be like, no. I just know it works.
Yeah.
It works. All right. I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. It was fun as always, Jordan. You're always welcome back. I believe Michael will be back from his trip next week. Whether or not he will be down for another episode at that point, he may be still recovering from jet lag because, having a 13-hour flight will do massive and weird things to you. So we'll see what happens. He had a big event that happened over there. I will let him talk about it next week. Prepare to give him
massive and weird things coming from Japan.
Yes, I did. And rightfully so.
Sorry.
God damn it, Japan.
Exactly.
I know.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you next week. Take it easy, everybody.